Today we are going to talk about the creating the catalog. Yesterday we have seen that how we can add a meta store, which is going to be rare, but at least for knowledge perspective, we should know that how this storage is attached to each other and what are the objects we have. So the next one we have is the catalog, which we can see here. Meta store we will not be able to see here. Meta store we will have to go into the workspace, and there we can see that which meta store is there. So if we go here and click on so basically if we click on the workspace, we click on manage account, it will ask, so it will take us to this screen, and here if we click on the catalog, so basically, this is the top level meta store we have in this workspace. So this is the top level meta store. Under the meta store, we have all these objects. So this is called catalog. Okay, so let's understand what it is and then how the objects are arranged in it. So creating catalog or I'll just simply show you the diagram. I think it's not here. It was some different place. Looks like not here. Yeah, I think we'll come across the diagram somewhere, but not in this article. Yeah, it looks like not here. But anyway, so in catalog, we'll see that how we can create the catalog, and catalog we can visualize or we can see it here. Okay, so this is called catalog. So this is the default catalog basically. When we created this workspace, we are having this catalog automatically created for us. Okay, and if we wish to have additional catalog, we can add the catalog from here. So we can add a catalog, and we have seen yesterday as well that we can have three type of catalog. First is the standard, second is foreign, and the third is shared one. So this is like you can attach a catalog with the connection from outside, and this is the internal catalog. Okay, so we can create the catalog like same one. So we can organize our data in schemas, and we have more schema created. Like one is information schema, which is associated with each catalog. So if I go to even system catalog, I can see information schema is there, and one schema for the system. So this is how it is arranged. So let's go here and learn how we can create one. So these are like requirements. Definitely once since we are account owner and we have the workspace permission, we will have all these requirement meeting anyways. But if we want it granular level, then we can configure these requirements. So creating a catalog, really very easy process. Here you just simply have to go to catalog, and under catalog you have to create or click on the create catalog button. In that we will have three choices as we have seen. So standard one or standard catalog is a secureable object that organize data and AI assets. Okay, and it is managed by Unity catalog. So Unity catalog is like governing, or access control sort of thing, which manages all the permission for our catalog. Okay, for all use cases except the Lakehouse Federation, which is like for foreign catalog. So except this, the catalogs created from data sharing share. So this data sharing is like one model, which is like one layer of the data storage. So you can assume as a layer. Okay, and foreign catalog, we have seen yesterday that how we can connect the external data system. So we'll have to create a connection, and then we can create a foreign catalog as well. Okay, and the shared one is the which is having the data, and we can share it with you as a data sharing share. So this concept we will study, in further session. So that time we'll talk about the share and all those things. Okay, depending on the catalog type, specify the following options. So let's say if we are going for standard, catalog, we can have the option to, create, manage, storage as well. Okay, see, so we can do that. But here to create this one, simply we have to create. So if we see the interface is really very easy. We'll just simply create one and see. So I'll just, you know, collapse everything except these two. Create and add catalog. We'll go with the standard catalog. So I'll say, okay, catalog 2, for example. I'll go for standard. If you want the location, so location will choose the default location. If you want any subpath, and here Unity catalog will take care of all the permissions we need. So we'll hit create and catalog is created. It's really very simple process. We can view the catalog, configure the catalog. So we can go here and configure from here itself. And we can see which workspace is going to work with. So step 1, we can choose which workspace we want it to work with. So if we want it to work with all the workspaces, we will keep it selected. Then the permission we can configure for the users. Maybe we can, remove some permission or add some permission, etc. And then the metadata related information. So if we would like to put any tags with this catalog, we will go with that. And this catalog is configured. Okay, so again, you can see like this catalog is created and it is having two schemas in it. Okay, so by default, you can have two schemas. In default schema, we are going to keep the content basically like views, table, or whatever we do have inside, volumes and etc. And the information schema is like system schema, you can say. Okay, so this is about catalog and creation of catalog. Okay, so we can arrange. Yesterday we have, gone to the theoretical part that why we have to create the catalog and all those things. So basically, we want to separate or isolate the data from each other. That's why we are creating the catalog. And if we wish to create it using the, SQL statement in the notebook, that is also possible. We can type like create catalog. If not exist, then catalog name will provide. We provide the location path and the comment if any. And simply we can create the catalog from here as well. Either way, it will work. All right. So this is about the creation of catalog. Now I will talk about a little bit before we begin, because now we are starting to work with the notebooks. Before we, notebook is like central part. So everything on Databricks we are going to do is going to do with the notebook. So actual work we will be performing on the notebook. And coming sessions, mostly we will be working with the notebook because conceptual part we have covered lot many things, uh, where we require like knowledge how to manage the storage account, how storage account is connected with this, how we can have the external data connected with this. So mostly we will be working with the notebooks now on. So before that, we need to understand that how Apache Spark is working with the Databricks. So this concept is really important and it's really nice documentation. So it will provide us that how these both are working together, what is the relation between them. So let's go and we'll see this. So Apache Spark is like heart of Azure Databricks platform, and is the technology powering compute clusters and SQL warehouse. So basically, SQL warehouse and compute clusters, any query, anything we are performing, basically we are going to perform in these both. And the powering or, the Apache Spark, powers these both the stuff. Okay. Azure Databricks is an, optimized platform for Apache Spark. So there is little bit of optimization Databricks have, perform on Apache Spark, providing an efficient and simple platform for running Apache Spark workloads. Okay. So let's understand what is the Apache Spark first. So it will be helpful for us to make more sense. So I'll take you to another article. So overview of Apache Spark. So let's understand about the Apache Spark, what it does. So here let's see Apache Spark, like history, little bit of history also we can understand. So according to Databricks definition, Apache Spark is a lightning fast unified analytics engine for big data and ML, machine learning. So if we want to understand, or for definition perspective, Apache Spark is defined in this single line, that this is a lightning fast unified analytics engine for big data and ML. And now if we see about the history, it was originally developed by UC Berkeley in 2009. Databricks is one of the major contributor. Why Databricks have, optimized and all those things? Because this is like the major contributor. I think 60-70% contribution from Databricks. Apache Spark is one of the largest open source project for data processing. So we are using Apache Spark for data processing purpose. It is fast and in-memory data processing engine. So one of the advantage having the Apache Spark is that this works in the in memory data processing. So in memory means it is going to work with the RAM, not with the storage. So most of the data processing, or especially if we see the ETL processes which are being handled by the DBMS, are relatively slow, because these ETL processes are working in with the storage, not with the memory. So that's why the performance is little bit slow compared to the big data analytics systems. And Apache Spark uses the in-memory data for processing. Okay. So which becomes very fast to analyze. And little bit about the history of this, I think, and we'll go to the feature. So let's quickly see what are the feature it provides. So Apache Spark can use to perform batch processing. So whenever we do have batch processing, it has the capability to do that. Apache Spark can also use to perform stream processing. So we can have stream processing, means almost real-time processing also we can have using the Apache Spark. It can be used for interactive processing as well, means having the processing while you're working with that. And previously we were using Apache Impala for this purpose, or these are the tools we were using basically for interactive processing. Now the Apache Spark is also useful to perform graph processing. Spark can process the data in real time and batch mode. Both the modes are available. Okay. So these are core feature of Apache Spark. Just for our understanding, before we understand about the relation of Apache Spark and Databricks. Work, what is the relation, we'll see. Here, I think we have already read about this point, that Apache Spark in database perspective work with the compute cluster and SQL warehouse, where actual processing is happening, right? Azure Databricks is an optimized platform for Apache Spark. So this is like optimized one. It's using Apache Spark, but little bit more features are included, like Photon and all those things. So we'll see, look into it. Uh, what is the relationship of Apache Spark and Databricks? As we understood that Databricks is heavily, have contributed in Apache Spark. So Databricks company was founded by original creator of Apache Spark. So basically, Databricks came into the place by the people who have, created Apache Spark. So this is like relation between these both. Is an open source software project. Apache Spark has, committers from many top companies. including the Databricks. Okay. So this is what the relation. Definitely, if they are the founder, they have more insight of Apache Spark and all those things, so they can use it more efficient way. Databricks continues to develop and release feature to Apache Spark. Still, it is contributing to the Apache Spark. So this is what the insight relation these both are having. So still, they are active participant in Apache Spark, and they are maybe, having new feature launched or anything is happening. They know about Apache Spark and they can use along with the Databricks. The Databricks runtime includes additional optimizations. So what are the additional optimizations we can see with the Databricks here of the Apache Spark, and the proprietary features which they are building top of the Apache Spark is, these are extending the Apache Spark, including Photon. So one feature which is like definitely they are using the core feature of Apache Spark, but they have some optimization on top of this, which is available in Databricks, which is called Photon. So they have created this. All right. So, how does Apache Spark work on Azure Databricks? So, when you deploy a compute cluster or SQL warehouse on Azure Databricks, Apache Spark is configured and deployed to virtual machines. Okay. So, Apache Spark, whenever we are running any compute or anything, any resource, we are turning it on. So, if we go, I can show you here, for example, let's go to compute. So when I start running this, so along with this cluster computer which is running here, we will have Apache Spark, running on top of this computer. So this is what the relation we are talking here. Okay, so yeah, we are here. Okay. So this is what it's saying, that when you deploy a compute cluster or SQL warehouse, Apache Spark is going to work with this on the Databricks. Apache Spark is configured and deployed on this virtual machine. You don't need to configure or initialize the Spark, context or Spark session, is these are managed for you by Databricks. So Databricks internally taking care of, deployment of Apache Spark, and it's like automated process. So we don't have to do anything. It is, once your cluster is running, it is up and running along with the Databricks. Okay, can I use Azure Databricks without using Apache Spark? So here a little bit of explanation they have given, that Azure Databricks support a variety of workloads and include open source libraries in Databricks runtime. Databricks SQL uses Apache Spark under the hood. So basically it's saying that it is always going to use, whenever we have SQL statement running, definitely that is going to use the Apache Spark under the hood. But end users, use standard SQL syntax to create query and database objects. So on top, we are, creating, or writing standard SQL statements, but under the hood, it is going to work with the Apache Spark. Okay. So this is what the basically relation. So means it is not detachable, right? Okay, also Databricks runtime for machine learning is optimized for ML workloads, and many data scientists use primary open source libraries like TensorFlow, or these libraries also you can use with the Databricks. This is what it's saying. Uh, and the scheduled workload or against compute resource you can deploy, you can manage with the Databricks. So basically, Apache Spark is, tightly, coupled with the Databricks. Why to use Apache Spark on Databricks is that it provides a secure collaborative environment for developing and deploying enterprise solutions that scale with your business. So this is what one of the use which we are going to have. Okay, and Databricks employees, include many of the world's most knowledgeable Apache Spark maintainers, because these are insiders. These are, original creator of Apache Spark. So still, Apache Spark maintainers who are running actually Apache Spark, are associated with the Databricks. The company continuously develops and release new optimizations. Further, the Databricks, why it is gaining the popularity is that it is optimizing continuously. It is contributing on Apache Spark, and it's improving its own platform. So they are having the optimizations which are available with the Databricks only. Okay, to ensure that users can access fastest environment for running Apache Spark. Okay, so they are building like both the end. Basically, they are improving like they are improving on the Databricks end as well, and Apache Spark as well. So both the sides they are improving, optimizing the system so it can be be faster to process the data. Okay, so this is like how we can start with the Apache Spark. So now we'll start working with the uh, you know actual notebook. So let me see if anything useful for us here. So these are like setting related I have opened. So now what we'll do is we will quickly go through the document, and actually we will load and transform data using Apache Spark data frame. So we will understand about the data frame concept as well. So let's begin with this. Okay. Okay, in this tutorial, basically we'll talk about Apache Spark Python or PySpark we can call, and data frame APIs. Okay. In this article, basically we have Scala and all those things, but these are identical. Python is more popular, so we'll continue with the Python. Okay. Okay. So here, if you see, we have details available with the Python. We have details available with the Scala, R, and yeah. So these three are we have available. So let's continue with this. So let's understand what is the data frame, right? So data frame is like a data frame is two-dimensional labeled data structure. So a data frame is like in memory data structure you can say, with columns and potentially different types of columns. You can think of data frame like a spreadsheet, or like SQL table or dictionary, whatever you would like to call. So basically this is like table structure. Okay, so you can think of data frame like spreadsheet, SQL table, or dictionary of series of objects. Apache Spark data frames provide a rich set of functions like select columns, filter, join, aggregate. So these like we do in SQL statement, where we can filter or we can join multiple tables, we can aggregate, combine the result together. So these all features are available in data frame that allows you to solve common data analysis problem efficiently. Okay, so this is about the data frame. Apache Spark data frame are an abstraction built on top of a resilient distributed data set. Okay, RDDs, it is called RDD. Spark data frame and Spark SQL uses unified planning and optimization engine, allowing you to get nearly identical performance across all supported language on Azure Databricks like Python, SQL, Scala, and R. Okay, and what are the requirement to run the data frame? Let's see. To complete the following tutorial, basically what we are going to do is we are going to define. So these are like steps we are going to take. We are going to define variables and copy public data. So we'll find a source which is publicly available into the Unity catalog volume. So we will bring this data into a Unity catalog volume. And then what we'll do is next step, we'll create a data frame with Python. Then we'll load the data into data frame. from a CSV file. So the CSV file which we are creating from this public source, we are going to load this data into the data frame and then view and interact with the data frame. And then the save the data frame and run SQL queries on PySpark. So these are like steps we are going to follow in this tutorial. And we will do it hands-on, so don't worry, guys. Okay. So this is like theoretical part where what we need. So to complete this entire exercise, we will require, these are the permissions or requirement related. So to use example in this tutorial, your workspace must have Unity catalog enabled, which nowadays it's like, whenever we have the account, it is anyways by default, enabled. But previously it was not there. That's why it is always mentioning it here. The examples in this tutorial use a Unity catalog volume. So we are going to store the data or CSV file in volume. The sample data which we are going to fetch from public URL. To use these examples, create a volume and use that volume catalog. Okay. Schema and volume name and set volume. So these are like a requisite. You must have the following permissions. If we are having minimum, a zero trust policy where we want to give a minimum, permissions, these are the permission you should have. So read volume, write volume, or all privileges we can go with. Then use schema and all privileges, and use catalog and all privileges. So on different level, on catalog level this, on schema level this, and like this. Okay. So step one, we will define the variable and load CSV file. Okay. So what we need to do is we have to, so basically we are going to use this public URL to fetch the data, okay, into your Unity, catalog volume. So, and what it contains the baby names data or something like this. Open a new notebook. We'll open a notebook by clicking the plus icon. And then what we'll do is copy and paste the following code. So we have code written here. What we'll do here is we'll use this code and we'll, create this one. So in Python, we have this code available. So let's copy this, go to our environment and go to workspace. If I will go to my workspace, if I go to user, okay, I can create here a notebook. Okay. Okay, I created a notebook. I'll just rename it to baby names notebook. Okay, so we are, creating this notebook here, and the code which we have copied, the first code, I will paste it here. So this is the code. Now I will switch back to this one, right? So I'll just bring it near to this so we can easily work with this. So basically this is the Python code we are going to put into here, and what this code is having, it is having catalog name, schema name, volume name with the catalog, schema and volume name for the Unity catalog volume. Replace the table name with the table name of your choice. So table name we can put our own, and you will load baby name data into the table later on this tutorial. So this is like variables we are creating. So we are putting the catalog name, schema name, volume name, and this is the URL, public URL from where we are, we will bringing in the data here in this volume. And we are going to put the, file name like rows.csv, and then we can put the table name here of our choice. And here what is happening is that in path volume, these all are variables in Python. Okay. So path volume is equal to, we are going to say volumes, and then we are putting the catalog name, then schema name and the volume. So basically we are providing the path for the data which we are storing in this volume. Okay, so the volume belongs to this volume, volume name, whatever we put in this variable, it will come here. The schema we are putting here, so that is schema, and it will be creating the path for us. And then the catalog name, we are going to put it here. So this is the catalog name. Okay, and the path for table will become that catalog. So catalog name and the schema. Okay, so path of the table we are going to put like this, and we are going to simply print this both path. Okay, and in comment you can see show complete path. So this is going to be the complete path, and this is going to be the complete path of the volume. Okay, so let's go here and see. So I'll simply come here and I'll put the catalog name and all those things. So what I will do is I'll open my catalog in another tab, so it will be easy to work with. So one tab I have opened my notebook. Another tab I am going to open my volumes. Let it load. Okay. So either we can go with the default one. So if I go here and if I see I have volume created, volume 1 in this one. Okay. So I can use this volume and maybe I can put that file into this, or I can go to the catalog which we have newly created. So catalog 2 default, and we may create a volume here. So both the ways, it can go with. So let's pick this one, default one. So what is our catalog name? DB, let me see. Okay, DBWS underscore 9. So this is going to be the name here, DBWS underscore 9. I think I can easily pick it from, I should have, okay, if I click on here, yeah, I can easily, copy from here, or there is copy button as well. So copy, and I will go to here and replace with the catalog name. So this is going to be our catalog. So we are putting it here. Okay, then the schema name, let's go back. Schema is the default schema we are going to use. So we can copy this schema name from here. And we'll put it here. So this is our schema name. And this is putting both, basically this one already selected. So we'll just remove this part and the default schema. And then we'll go for next step and we'll expand the schema. Inside we should have volumes. So under volumes, we have one volume called volume 1. So I'll simply take this because maybe it will be taking entire path. So here we are going to define or put the volume name. Okay. And this is our download URL, which is the correctly defined because this is used in that article. And then the file name, which we are going to have rows.csv file name, which is being used here. So, okay. So if you see file name is already here. So this is the same. Then the table name we can put of our choice. So let's say if I say this is going to be what you should put, table 1, I think is the okay, table 1 we can put. So this is going to be table 1. Okay, so we have put all the requirement here, and simply to run this here we should have have connected with the cluster. If we are not connected with the cluster, it's not going to work. So if I see here, I have cluster, which is like the cluster with one driver. I can start and attach. Okay. So right now it is not started, so it's not going to perform the work. Alternatively, what I can do is I can maybe open another tab. So I can go to compute, right click, and open this in another tab. Okay, and I can go to, so basically it will show me the compute resources. and we have cluster here, personal compute. We'll just start this manually from here, so both the way it will work. So I'll simply confirm this, and now it will be starting. Meanwhile it is starting, we can go to our Azure portal and go to our subscription. Basically, yeah, I'll open the subscription, and if I go to my uses quotas in subscription, if I select, I deselect it all, South India. So in this data center, my resources running. I'll just filter it and I put here compute, this one, and I'll put that whatever, only show the item with uses. Right now, nothing is being used. You can see here. Now it is started using. See. So now you can see that I have quota of 20, um, compute cluster related, information, or I can use these resources. So here I have this quota. Basically, it is increased on the request. I requested Microsoft to increase these numbers, though, so they have requested the number. Earlier, it was showing me the failure because this quota was limited to 10. I believe it was only 5 or 10, something like this. So it was not allowing me to perform this task. Now, since we are starting our cluster, so it is changing it here. And sometime you may, face the error where your cluster will fail and say you don't have enough resources. Maybe you can coordinate with your Azure admin and ask him to increase the quota here. So this is just for your information how it is being arranged. Okay, so meanwhile it is going, let's see what else is happening. Yeah, so it's going to use these resources. We'll go to our compute tab and we can see our cluster is starting. It is not yet started. This sign has to, go away. Then we will consider, or we will assume that it's started. We may have to wait a while to, let it start. It may take some time, maybe a minute or two, to, just wake up this cluster and start. Meanwhile, if you have any doubt, anything, if you are having any concern, we can take some questions while it is starting. All right, so still it's going on, and once it is started, we will be able to view it here. So it's like running sign, still not started, and I think we'll see in the drop down as well here. So entirely, basically, we are, in Databricks, we will be working on the notebooks. So create multiple notebooks, um, maybe schedule it. So one of the advantage of having Databricks is that you don't have to do it manually. You can put it on automation. So you can create the job out of these notebooks, and these notebooks will run whenever you say. Let's say if I say that I want to run this notebook on daily basis, so it will fetch the data of whatever the source we have. The updated data will come in, and then let's say if you are having a dashboard or anything where you would like to have updated data, so you will not have to work manually to run or perform the ETL process. It will do its own, and once you schedule, it is always there. So that's one of the advantage having this Databricks. Yes, so my active resources, now I can see here that I can use the cluster, and my cluster is up and running. So it is connecting, and now it will show that which cluster I'm connected to. Okay, and now what I can do is I can simply go here and run the cell, and either I click on the play button. So here in this cell we have declared or variables. So what we have done, we have defined the variables and load CSV file, right? So I'll copy this title, and it's not mandatory task anyways, but I'm just putting to identify that this what this cell is doing. So you can write like this, and you can run this here. So you basically what it's doing is it's just giving this output of the table path of the table, okay, and the print the path of the volume. So this is the path of the volume, and this is the path table, okay. So these both output we get. Let's see what next we are going to do. So we have defined our variables and load the CSV file in the first step, which we have done using the Python. We may have used the Scala, and this is the code of Scala. This is the code of R, and we simply also we can press shift and enter to run the cell. So this is like shortcut if you would like to run this cell by command. And basically it's going to copy and paste the following code into your new empty notebook cell, okay. So this we want next step here. So let me see, we are on number 1, number 2 is done, number 3, this is done. Copy and paste the following code into new empty notebook cell. So basically on step number 4, we are is talking about this next step, that it's saying that, okay, use the db utils and fs command or cp command, where your cp command is basically to copy the data from some path. So we are saying that this is going to be your download URL, and path volume and path of the file. We are going to copy this into next cell. So let's copy this and open your notebook here, go here, and you can simply go down and create. So you can collapse this cell, for example, like this. It will create some screen, space, and you can simply uh, click on plus code and put your, you know, command here, okay, and we can run this command, okay. So this is how it's going to be. So if let's say if I go here, my download URL, this is the variable which we are calling here, and it has to be in the curly braces with the F sign here. So it's going to take as a string, and then you see the path volume we are taking from here, and the file name we are going to take from here, okay. So these variables we are basically pointing that from this URL take and copy this data with the help of dbutils, which is like command utility, and this is file system. So we are performing the copy command from here. So we are taking the data from this URL and putting it on this location. Okay, so let's see what is going to happen. Copy and paste, okay, Unity catalog, and run this command. So now next we are running this cell, and then move to next cell. Okay, so let's go here and run this cell. So I'll simply minimize this and say run. And again, when I'm not using this notebook for 10 minutes, my cluster will stop. So we have put the condition on this cluster that it should automatically stop if I'm not using this resource. So it will not cost me. It has returned the true, means it has successfully copied the data from here to here. So let's verify if the data is copied or not. So I'll go here in the catalog, in the volume, and if I refresh, I think from here. So you can see in the volume 1, I have one, rows.csv table created. So this table is basically, created, or this file is being fetched in this volume from the source, So this file we successfully, downloaded from the public source available. Okay, and you can see it's happened just now. So it's like this. Okay, so this is how we were able to bring in the data from the external source and put in our volume inside of our, account. All right. So let's go here and see what else we can do. Now, what we will try to do is we will create a data frame out of this, file. So in this step, we'll create a data frame named a df1 with the test data which we have, and then display its content. Okay, so the idea is that we are going to create a data frame and going to display in this step. So step one, we were, I think, what was the step one total? Define variable and load CSV. Okay, so I think there he put define variable, and load CSV part is conducted by the second cell. So we'll take this title from here. So here we define the variable, here we load the CSV. Okay, so these are like steps which we are following. Okay, next is, okay, so let's go down. Now we are going to create a data frame. Okay, so we'll take this title and create new cell here, and we'll just put the title here. So just to identify what is happening where. Okay. So we are creating data frame. Let's go and see the code. Here we'll copy paste this into empty cell, and this code creates a data frame with the test data and then display the contents and the schema of the data frame. Okay, let's go. So basically, data, we are going to create some data here, like array or JSON array, and then we are going to create some columns here. And then we are going to define a data frame. So df1 stands for data frame, and this is spark dot create data frame command with the help of this data, which is here. And schema is going to be year, which is int. So the first column, the second column, first name, first underscore name, which is going to be string. So first underscore name. Then the second column, which is like country, and that is going to be string again. Then the sex of here, so string again, and then the count, which is the int. Okay, so these columns we are going to create here in this data frame, and then with the display command we are going to show this data frame or output of this data frame. So display is basically a method, specific to Databricks. It's like a command of a Databricks notebook, and we can use it to show the, data frame properly. If we would not have used this, display, I think maybe we can try it out. So it won't show the result, nicely. So it's little bit improvement. I'll simply paste it here. Okay, so I hope you understand that what we are planning to do here. And we are having in this data frame one, data as well. So we just put the data here, one line of data. We define the columns, and then we told to create a data frame out of it using create data frame command. We use this data and we define the schema for this. Okay. Okay, so let's run this here and see what is happening here. Let's see. So Spark job is running, and you can see that with the help of display command, we were able to show this data. And if I remove the data, let me remove this one. I think there is one more command was there. I think display dot show, here dot show. Yeah, so this is the command. I think it will not show nicely, but let's see. So it will show like this, So this is like, data is not nicely formatted, but this is what the df show command, have. And when we type display, it, represents nicely. Display and df, and we just do this. I think, yeah. Okay. So again, we run this, and this is little bit nice layout. Okay, so far I think should be easy to understand. Should not have any issue with this. Okay, so here we created the data frame. Let's go back, and Scala and are also available same way. Now next step we are going to do is the load data into data frame from CSV file. Okay, so in step 2, what we have done is we created a data frame, but we didn't load it. Basically, we created a manual data frame here in this case. Okay, so we are not fetching any data, from outside. So here if you see, we are just, created a simple, column structure, and we, put this data in this data frame. So it's like manual creation, no external data involved. But here what we are going to do is we are going to load the data into a data frame from the CSV file, which we have, fetched. So I'll just copy this title. I'll put it here, and I'll open or create new cell where I am going to put this title. Okay, so load data into data frame from CSV file. So let's go back. What we need to do, so this step create a data frame name df underscore CSV from CSV file that you have previously loaded into the Unity catalog volume. Okay, and the copy and paste. So basically what we are going to use here is spark.read CSV. Okay, so here the data frame we are creating from this command. So we are using spark.read.csv. By this command, we will be able to read the CSV file. And then we are providing the path of the volume and slash file name. Okay, so that CSV file rows.csv, I believe. So this is the entire path of that file name. So it will go to storage and read this file. And then we are going to say, okay, headers are going to be true, schema is true, info schema is true. And the separator in this is the comma. So this is comma separated file. So this is what we are going to define here. Let's copy, and then the display command will show the data which we have, fetched. So let's go here and just paste it here. Okay, I hope the command is very clear. I will just quickly run this. Now, this data is basically coming from the CSV file which we have, downloaded. Okay, so that all data is coming from here. Okay, and in the previous example, we have seen that we have created a data frame manually, having its own rows and all those things. So here, yeah, here in this case, I think, yeah. In this case, we were just, putting the data manually and defining the data frame. But in this case, I'll just minimize this. And we are loading the data from CSV, and we just using this command spark.read.csv and providing the path of CSV file which is available in our volume, and saying that it is having header, it is having the schema, and it is having the separator comma, because some files are tape separated as well. So we are able to display this data from that CSV file. Okay. The next one, step 4, view and interact with your data frame. So here we will understand that how we can view and interact with data frame. So we can print the data frame schema. Let's say, for example, so we'll type this step because one cell is there. So we'll just understand about the printing of data frame schema. I'll go here and I'll just minimize this. So I'll create another, cell. And the beautiful thing is that the variables we have defined here are available throughout other cells. Okay, and we can run all the cells together as well. So if we go for run all, it will run entire notebook together. So that is also possible. We can run cell by cell. So let's say if we want to tweak in any cell, we can, just change that cell and work with. Okay, so let's print the schema. Mm, How to display the schema of Apache Spark data frame? Apache Spark uses the term schema to refer the name and data types of the column. So let's do this. It should be easy. So we are going to see the schema or print schema. By print schema, we are going to see the data frame underscore CSV. So this is one data frame. This is the previous one, which is manually, which we have created. So both the schemas we are going to look into. I'll simply click on this and see here. So if I run this cell, I can see that these are the schema available in this data frame. So the first one, df underscore CSV, I can see here that year is integer value, and the first name is string, country is string, sex is string, and the count is integer. And the second one, I can see year is integer and first underscore name is there, which is the string. So if you notice carefully, this is first space name, and in the second schema we have first underscore name. So little bit different. So first one we have created with this, column type or column name is different than the first and second. So there is difference. Okay, and then, so this is how we will be able to print the schema in the data frame, or we can visualize. So basically, the idea is when we want to perform any join or anything, we want to compare schemas. So we can do these things on the cell on, this notebook. So I'll prefer you guys that you at least start using the notebook. If you have community edition or Azure or whatever, you can start working with the data frame. So little bit idea you will start developing it. Better to have Azure account and premium sort of subscription, which will not be costing you a lot. Basically, you can easily maybe manage with the maybe 50 to 100 rupees a day per hour basis. So it's really easy, you can work with. So it's worth, because practically if you don't spending if you are not spending time practically on the Databricks, then theoretically whatever understanding you have, you can maybe do this, but practically it's important to have more knowledge with this. So if any question, anything you would like to ask, we can take the question. So anyone having any question, I'll just give you time. So please go ahead. I hope you guys are getting the documentation, and so I am providing the documentation also, which we are following. And these are publicly available as well. So you can follow them. And if there is any update, why I'm using the public documentation is, or the documentation which is the official documentation. The reason is, tomorrow if there is change introduced with the Databricks, because this is evolving platform. If I provide you a rigid document, maybe in future you have, let's say, a new term added, or some document update is happening, then you will find that difficult, that what I explained you is different than the new interface or any update is there. So it's always, I recommend that use the official documentation which is publicly available, because it is evolving process. Some of the instructor, like they provide the rigid document, but it doesn't help really. So nowadays it's products are evolving very fast. So I recommend that you have to have a fluid document which is updating continuously basis. And basically here Microsoft manages everything. Microsoft keep updating this document. So let's say if any article or new concept is being added to this document, it will be updated automatically. It, on frequently it is like having contributors, and article is keep updating itself, and it's publicly available, free of cost, so you should definitely be going for this and use this documentation. Even on normal level practice also, you should use the documentation which is available publicly and official documentation. Further, with the Databricks point of view, Databricks maintain documentation with the platform. So if I open, let's say, Databricks documentation, if I go with the Databricks official documentation, which is having again categorized as the cloud platform which we are working with. So if we are working with the Azure, it will point to the Microsoft. If we are working with the AWS, then they have different documentation location. So let's open this, for example. So this documentation is related to AWS, Amazon Web Platform. There are sometimes difference which are important. That's why I'm not going with the Databricks documentation here. When we are working with the Microsoft platform, it's better to switch to Microsoft, and Microsoft takes care of all the documentation from here. So it will totally switch and it will go to learn.microsoft.com. Okay, so it's better to use this resource, because this is the official documentation related to Azure and Databricks. Okay, because we are learning Azure Databricks. So little bit of difference, maybe almost identical concept point of view, but still there is variations, and storage account is different, cluster is different, resources being managed differently. So you will find a difference here in this three of three provider documentation. All right, so that's it for today's session. Thank you everyone for joining.